Good afternoon and welcome to Cardinal High School for today's CVC Volleyball Match of the Week. And it's a big one as two Chagrin Valley Conference teams will battle it out for the Division III District Championship. I'm Steve Hare, the CVC Sports Information Director, and joining me on the call today is Haley Adams. But before we get to that, let's take a look at today's matchup featuring the second-seeded Cardinal Huskies and the number 3 seed, the visiting Kirtland Hornets. This socially distant pregame show is presented by JC's Restaurant in Burton. Looking for a family-friendly restaurant with a local flair? JC's has you covered. JC's is a locally owned, family-friendly restaurant that has been in business for 10 years serving home-cooked meals. Even though JC's is located in Badger territory, there are plenty of Huskies on staff. JC's loves to support all the local schools and appreciates the community support. Visit jcs.restaurant to view the JC's menu and be sure to like us on Facebook. Today's match is the third meeting between these league rivals, with each team winning on the other's home court. Cardinal won at Kirtland back on September 9th, but the Hornets avenged that loss with a 3-1 win at Cardinal on October 12th, just over 2 weeks ago. Kirtland enters this rubber match of sorts with a 16-6 record, while Cardinal comes in at 17-6. Both teams, however, are in search of their first district title in a decade. Kirtland last advanced to the regional tournament in 2010, but that was in Division IV. So the Hornets are hoping to win their first Division III district title here today, while the Huskies hope to return to regionals for the first time since 1996. There's a lot riding on this match, and I had the opportunity to speak with coaches and players from both teams to see how they're approaching it both mentally and physically. Let's first check in with the Hornets and head coach Arlena Newcomer, who already has made an impact in just her second season with the squad. Last year, the Hornets earned a share of the CVC Valley Division title, and this year, Newcomer hopes to add a district title to the program's resume.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting. We put all this time and effort into the gym day in and day out. It's exciting for us as a coaching staff, but I also think for the girls, I think it's really big for us. We're really trying to accomplish something here. So we're looking forward to it.
While the Hornets aren't short on talent, they are lacking in experience, and that's one of the biggest challenges Newcomer has heading into today's match. The Hornets have 5 freshmen, 6 sophomores, and 3 juniors on their roster. There is no senior experience, so keeping the team focused through the good times and the bad will be one of the keys to Kirtland's success. Coach Newcomer is confident the Hornets are ready for the moment.
So, we always talk about wanting to celebrate the wins and the little victories, making sure that we focus on the next point and focus on, the bigger picture. We really want to, live in that moment when it's going our way. And then, when things aren't quite going our way, we really want to slow it down and to just get back to the basics and do what we got to do.
The Hornets would have been ready for any opponent in this district championship match, but they're excited to have the opportunity to play a familiar opponent in Cardinal.
I would have been okay playing, them, South Range, really anybody, because, I don't focus and I, have our team not really focus necessarily on the other team as much. We really try to focus on our side of the court and, what we need to do and how we get our job done. It is nice that we do have some history with them and we kind of know what they're good at and how we can kind of use that to our advantage. It's nice, but really the main focus for us is our side of the court.
Sophomore Ava Golem is in her second season with the Hornets, which means she's already one of the Kirtland veterans. She's also a big reason the Hornets are here in the first place. She started the district semifinals match with 15 straight service points. The Hornets went on to sweep Rootstown to earn their shot at the district title.
It's really exciting. Every time that I step on the court, I'm always so excited to play. I go out there and work hard and try and encourage my teammates to work hard because just playing volleyball is that's what I do. That's my life. So it's really exciting to be out there and win too. That's exciting.
According to Golem, the young Hornets are ready for the biggest match of their careers. She's seen a lot of development in both the team and each individual player.
I think it's really cool to actually be like our team being this young and doing this well because, we obviously have a lot of sophomores, me being a sophomore, and then there's freshmen who are younger than me, and seeing them step up is really exciting too, because I'm really impressed with how they did, and seeing them grow as players and like us all grow together as a team.
Golem, who played in the Ohio Varsity Underclassmen Showcase last season, is even more confident this year as she believes the chemistry the Hornets have developed in Coach Newcomer's second year will be a benefit this afternoon.
It helped a lot. It really boosted my confidence and made me a better player all around, because I had that experience of being on the court with the older kids and having coach me 2 years in a row. That really helps with the chemistry and just my confidence in general.
Sophomore Natalie Glow also made quite an impact last season as a freshman, and this year she's developed into one of the most feared hitters in the league. Glow also credits her experience for preparing her for the intensity she'll face today.
Last year was an amazing experience for me because along with Arlena coming in as a new coach, I was also coming in as a freshman, and the whole team was growing together. We were all learning, we were all getting used to each other. And I think that helped, and the chemistry carried over into this season. And I think our team really stepped up from last year, and I think we all improved.
Opposing coaches are well aware of Glow's ability to put the ball on the floor, and they've gotten creative in trying to slow her down. That forces Glow to alter her approach at times, and she'll be ready for similar tactics against the Huskies.
I like to stay upbeat, and I like to look for holes and stuff like that. And I'm always looking for the smarter move, and sometimes it's tipping, sometimes it's throwing. But I think I need to keep my energy and spirit up, and I think that will carry us through the game a little bit.
Again, the Hornets are a very young team, but Glow and her teammates aren't focused on their lack of experience. They know what it's going to take to win the district title. Now, all they have to do is stay focused on the game plan and take care of what they can control. If they do that, the rest will take care of itself.
We just got to keep our side of the court clean, play like Kirtland volleyball plays, and have fun, and I think we'll do great.
Ohio Center for Orofacial and Implant Surgery diagnoses and treats facial pain and injuries, and also offers a full range of dental implants and bone grafting procedures. Look no further than the Ohio Center for Orofacial and Implant Surgery for all of your oral surgery and cosmetic surgery needs. Please visit their website at www.ohsurgery.com.
We've talked a lot about Kirtland's young team. Over at Cardinal, it's a bit of a different situation as the Huskies have 3 seniors on their roster to go along with 8 juniors, 2 sophomores, and a freshman. Cardinal graduated just 2 seniors from last year, leaving the squad virtually intact this season.
Yeah, that is an advantage definitely for us. We have a lot of varsity experience. These guys, we only graduated 2, so we brought back, basically everybody, and then moved in a couple of people here and there. But, that's huge for us. And I'm looking for my experienced players to finish plays and make plays, on Saturday because, they're the ones to do it. And, the more ones that aren't as experienced are going to just follow suit with that, and it's going to be huge for these guys, especially, Haley and Elena. Those 2 have the most, varsity experience out there. And, I think those 2, if they're on and they're being good leaders and they're having fun and just being aggressive and, working together with everyone, I really do feel confident about Saturday.
Coach Chambers knows she has an advantage, both playing at home and when comparing experience. And she also realizes just how big a win would be for the school and the program.
Honestly, this would be probably the best thing to happen to Cardinal in a long time. I mean, we have had such great teams for a long time now. So, to finish out the season with a district title would just be such a big momentum thing for us at Cardinal and for the school as a whole, for the program. We fell short back in 2018 when we had our amazing team with, Camille Cummins, Kaylee Klepper, Faith Peters, that whole group. We almost had it. It was like we were so close, and then we just fell short. So I think, these guys were a part of that program at that time as well. So I think this has totally pumped them up and showed them like, hey, we can play at this level, we can compete at this level, and this would be something huge for Cardinal, definitely.
Beating Kirtland for a second time won't be easy, but Chambers knows her team can do it. And she planned to remind them of that after practice on Friday by rewatching the video from their first matchup this season. Cardinal came out fast and aggressive in that match, something they lacked in the loss to Kirtland 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was actually watching film today on our first game against Kirtland this season, and I just feel like we came out so strong. We, kind of dominated the game throughout. I mean, obviously Kirtland is a great team, so I'll never take that away from them. But I just feel like, we just played super strong. So, we're going to watch some film tomorrow after we practice and kind of just like relive that again to show us that we can do it. It is possible. We have the talent. We just have to put it all together and play together and just have fun. And, I'm excited. I know the girls are excited. We had a really good practice today. They were picking up balls, we were slamming the ball at them because, Kirtland has a lot of strong hitters. So it was nice to see them, able to step into those seams and pick up some balls that maybe we didn't do the second time around when we played Kirtland. But, I would never make excuses for these guys because, they worked their butts off and, Kirtland did win the second time around, but, it was just such a tough week before that. And I just think, our mental game was a lot different with some of the losses they had, at Cardinal with the 2 deaths that they had to handle. So I think now we are just, there's been enough time where we've kind of healed, we're refocused, we're hungry for this game. So I think this is going to be, something huge for us. And I'm very excited.
Junior Haley Doman has played for the varsity squad in each of her 3 seasons at Cardinal. So she's developed a mental toughness she'll rely on to keep her and her teammates focused on Saturday.
I just want to go in and play my game and not let others try and bring me down and just have energy to pick up my team when we are down.
Cardinal's familiarity with Kirtland will help the Huskies to prepare for what's to come on Saturday.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it helps us a lot because we know who their best player is or what our defense needs to look like, and I feel like it definitely has a big part other than playing some team that we don't really know, some people down south where we have to drive, and I feel like it's more of an advantage playing someone we already played before, knowing their strengths and weaknesses.
COVID changed the way the volleyball postseason brackets were drawn up. Rather than all district matches being played at one location, the higher seeded team has hosted each round this year. That's a big benefit to the Huskies, who were the top seeded team in their half of the bracket and the number 2 seed overall. That means Cardinal has hosted each of its playoff games thus far.
Yeah, I definitely feel like playing all of our games at home is a big thing, and having our fans and everything just being able to come to our home court is definitely a win for us in our situation.
One of Cardinal's strengths this season has been its scrappy defense. Nobody epitomizes that more than senior libero Elena Strever, who can be seen diving all over the floor and chasing down loose balls all over the court.
We have a really good defense with having Grace Whitney and Gabby, all of us, Ronnie Collins. Being able to have people that I can trust to be able to take balls when I need them to be able to get their, take their territory, and me being able to get mine, it really helps being able to trust them and know that they will do their job and I'll do mine all together. So
Strever has played in many big games during her Cardinal career, but Saturday's match could be the most anticipated, as it definitely will be the final time she plays on her home court, and it could turn out to be a program-defining moment.
I love it. I'm so excited. I have a lot of faith in us, and I just really hope that we can pull ourselves together, really get this win, and especially since it's been 24 years since we've actually got to we've won a districts finals and go to regionals. I think it would be really awesome for us, and especially after this whole crazy year. So I'm really excited.
As a senior, Strever knows what it's going to take for the Huskies to end their 24-year district title drought.
I think we just all need to play together. It all comes down to that. When we play together, I think we are unstoppable. We really work good when we're all on, and we do great. We have some great hitters that can, get us our points, and our defense is on. So I just hope that we all can work together.
Looking for a family-friendly restaurant with a local flair? JC's has you covered. JC's is a locally owned, family-friendly restaurant that has been in business for 10 years serving home-cooked meals. Even though JC's is located in Badger territory, there are plenty of Huskies on staff. JC's loves to support all the local schools and appreciates the community support. Visit jcs.restaurant to view the JC's menu, and be sure to like us on Facebook. Welcome back to the CVC TV Socially Distant Pregame Show. That's going to do it for us here in the studio, but I'd like to thank all of today's broadcast sponsors, including Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery, Capwell Financial, Vape Educate, JC's Restaurant, Preem Farm, Tim Frank Septic Tank Cleaning Company, H&H Land Clearing, the Cardinal Athletic Boosters, Cardinal Wrestling Alumni, and the Granny and Doman families. I'd also like to thank the players and coaches for taking the time during a busy week for their socially distant interviews, and a big thank you to all of you for tuning in. Be sure to check the CVC website at www.chagrinvalleyconference.com for more on the CVC and this match in particular. And now let's head back to Cardinal High School for the Division III District Championship. Good afternoon and welcome to Cardinal High School for today's CVC Volleyball Match of the Week. And it is a big one as it's a Division III District Championship game between two Chagrin Valley Conference teams. I'm Steve Hare, the CVC Sports Information Director, and joining me in the booth today is Haley Adams. Haley, how exciting is this to have two CVC teams in a district championship game at a CVC school?
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes for the talent that plays in the CVC. As the last few years, it's been run by Cardinal, Kirtland, and Burton, and it's no surprise that, again, it's Kirtland and Cardinal with the matchup.
And we're going to take a brief moment here to recognize our national anthem, and we will let you listen in to the pregame introductions, and we'll be back for the call. Welcome back to Cardinal High School for the Division III District Championship match between your host Cardinal Huskies and the Kirtland Hornets. This is the CVC Volleyball Match of the Week. CVC TV is always presented by Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. And today we have a host of local sponsors we'd like to get to and recognize throughout the afternoon. Capwell Financial, Vape Educate are two of our regular CVC TV sponsors. Today, our pregame show was presented by JC's Restaurant in Burton. We also have Preem Farm, Tim Frank Septic Tank Cleaning Company, H&H Land Clearing, Cardinal Wrestling Alumni, the Doman family, the Cardinal Athletic Boosters, and the Granny family. Let's listen into our team introductions.
Now, an introduction for each team, starting with the visiting coaches, Ariana Newcomer and Olivia Smolinski. Now, the coaches for your Cardinal Huskies, Carissa Chambers, assisted by Catherine Hess, Lauren Cristo, and team manager Emily Doolittle. And now, non-starters for Kirtland. So, number 3, Sophia Wojenman. Number 5, Maria Alfieri. Number 8, Ayla Wonger. Number 10, Nina Lonkar. Number 16, Avery Kuzkowski. Number 27, Rachel Spencer. And number 33, Nora Withrow. Now the non-starters for the Cardinal Huskies. Sophomore, number 2, Skylar Earhart. Sophomore, number 3, Ronnie Collins. Senior, number 8, Brianna Doolittle. Freshman, number 13, Riley Warnsman. Junior, number 18, Lauren Saltis. Junior, number 19, Milani Makaira. And junior, number 30, Lindsay Hissa. Now the starting lineup for Kirtland Hornets. Sophomore, number 17, Ava Galen. Sophomore, number 2, Marissa Kormzinso. Freshman, number 99, Katie Reynolds. Sophomore, number 25, Natalie Glove. Junior, number 19, Stella DeJohn. Sophomore, number 0, Tessa Gordon. And freshman, Senior, number 7, Jessie Cross. Junior, number 10, Grace Whitney. And junior, number 16, Carolyn Rotowski. Ladies and gentlemen, this year our season depends on cooperation.
Well, Haley, it's go time. This is the Division III District Championship match between the visiting Kirtland Hornets, the number 3 seed, and your host, Cardinal Huskies, the number 3 seed. These two teams are no strangers to each other. They've played twice already this season, with each team winning on the other's home court. The last 5 seasons, though, Cardinal has dominated this series. They're 8-2 against the Hornets, although the last 2 seasons have been the splits. So, Haley, how much does that play into it? Where Cardinal's playing on its home floor, they've dominated the series, and Kirtland's a very young team walking in here trying to pull the upset.
Yeah, as we look at some of the keys to the game, one of our most important ones is the experience that Cardinal has, whether that's the junior and the senior class or just the varsity experience compared to what Kirtland has. And I think, too, the small crowd that Cardinal has today, I think that's going to play a factor as well. Again, you're comfortable with your home court, you know, what boundaries you can run to and spread to, and I think that's going to be a key component here for the Huskies.
Let's take a quick look at the stat leaders for each team as we await this first serve. Kirtland comes in, a very young team, as we mentioned, 0 seniors on the roster, but those young players are very good. You start with Natalie Glow, a sophomore. She leads the team in kills with 239. She also has a team-high 56 service aces. Katie Reynolds comes in with 338 assists. Ava Golem leads the team with 360 digs, and Stella Dijon leads the team with 34 blocks. And on the Cardinal side of the court, very potent team on the offensive end, but they also play great defense, and we're going to see a lot of that today. But leading the way with kills with 215 is Jessie Prosch. Haley Doman, one of the keys to the game today for the Huskies, she comes in with 598 assists. Elena Strever, an amazing 434 digs. Carolyn Rakowski with 95 blocks. And Doman leads the team with 66 service aces. So Haley, coming in, who are the keys to the game for you?
Well, looking at Kirtland's side, like you mentioned before, Natalie Glow leading her team with 239 kills. No one comes close to that, is the second. And they have to get her started very early. She can't let frustration get to her. On the Huskies side, although Prosch leads with 215 kills, we're looking at kills from Hissa, who has 178 on the season. We're looking at Doman, who has 129 kills on the season herself. So the key to Cardinal success is spreading the ball out, really using those outsides, but then getting Rakowski involved and Hutchinson in the middle.
Absolutely. The winner here will advance to play the winner of the Independence Brookside game on Thursday at Barberton High School at 5:30 p.m. So we're definitely hoping for an all-CVC regional semifinal there. And we're underway here at Cardinal.
A good start that time around for the Hornets and Ava Golom. Ooh, and a nice effort that time around by the Huskies. Although Kirtland got that point, you don't want to start celebrating too soon, as it was a pancake that time around by Hissa, and Doman does her best to kick the ball up as Grace Whitney was unable to get it over the net. A good first contact that time around by Collins, and it's Hissa who gets a kill off the block. Right away, Steve, we see both teams getting their block established very early, a key component for both teams.
Yeah, I think that's going to be key, especially for Cardinal, because Kirtland comes in with some very powerful hitters, and you've got to stop Natalie Glow, and that's going to start on the block.
And thinking back to when I played just a few years ago, I think height was a big factor for both Cardinal and Kirtland. But that's not the case here today. You're going to look at two teams that have very scrappy defenses.
Yeah, we talked about Elena Strever and her amazing digs, but Cardinal has over 1,800 digs as a team.
Again, it's that scrappiness that, okay, maybe their offense isn't able to get points and win the rallies, but it's their defense that really keeps them in a lot of these sets and a lot of these matches. A good dig that time around by Tess Gordon. And it's Prosch who just has to tip it over. and just out of the reach of Nemeth. But again, we're talking early of Striever, and a key thing for her personally, she has to stay composed. She can't get frustrated with herself early, and as a senior, you learn to establish that throughout your 4 years.
Yeah, that's going to be a key today for both teams, is just maintaining composure.
And I think, too, there's a lot riding on this game for both teams, and a double call that time around will be called on Doman, which is rare. You don't see that often. But again, going back, a lot riding on this game for both teams. We're looking, the last district titles, Kirtland received one in 2010, but their last appearance was in 2011. Looking at Cardinal, we're dating back to 1996, but the last appearance was 2018. That was Jess Prash that gets a kill cross court.
The early goings here at Cardinal. The Huskies now with a 4-3 lead.
That's Rakowski and Doman on that block, and that's a one-handed stab that time around by Jessie Prash. And that's Natalie Glow that finds the deep corner. And Steve, talking to some of these Cardinal players last night, they talked about putting in a new defense this time around against Natalie Glow and the Hornets, as we saw them meet just a few weeks ago, Kirtland taking it 3-1. Cardinal really struggled against Glow, mainly on that cross-court shot that she has, but this time around I'm excited to see what type of defense they install.
Yeah, and that was one of the keys we talked about in the pregame show, is Natalie Glow, as just a sophomore, has developed into one of the premier hitters in Northeast Ohio.
Yeah, and the thing that makes her so potent is that cross-court shot that she's able to hit. A lot of times you won't see a high schooler go line, but she has that lethal line shot, or lethal cross-court shot that really hurt the Huskies last time around. And that's Doman on the rare service error. And I think, again, Steve, for the Huskies, a little bit more experienced team this time around, they have to limit their errors. They can't have too many service errors, and they can't have too many hitting errors. And that's not a good sign here to see a quick service error that time around.
Yeah, we saw that when we broadcast the Independence at Trinity game.
Yes.
Is when you're trying to win a big game or trying to pull off an upset, you can't afford those unforced errors.
Right, absolutely. And that's Doman that gets a one-handed set that time around, but it's Prash who gets it into the net.
And now Kirtland with the biggest lead of the match thus far. It's 8-5.
Good pass that time around by Nemeth. And Rakowski can't connect, and quickly Coach Chambers is going to call a timeout to talk to her team. Again, Steve, we talked about those errors that start to pile up for any team, but again, can't happen for the Huskies, as they can't play against themselves. They have to play their opponent in Kirtland.
Right on, and let's take a look at one of our sponsors, JC's Restaurant in Burton.
Looking for a family-friendly restaurant with a local flair? JC's has you covered. JC's is a locally owned, family-friendly restaurant that has been in business for 10 years serving home-cooked meals. Even though JC's is located in Badger territory, there are plenty of Huskies on staff. JC's loves to support all the local schools and appreciates the community support. Visit jcs.restaurant to view the JC's menu and be sure to like us on Facebook.
Good dig that time around by Natalie Glow. And they'll call number 5, Maria Alfier, in the net.
Yeah, Maria Alfieri, another one of those sophomores. Wasn't her moment at that point, but she is somebody the Hornets will rely on today.
A good drop and cover that time, or block and drop, by Hissa. And it's Hissa who gets a kill. And Steve, there was a lot of concern about having Hissa there at the outside with her being a lefty. A lot of times you see a lefty on the right side. But I think for her, a game that really turned her performance around was that Burton game. where Cardinal took that set from Burton, and she really came out firing, and she had a lot of confidence, and you need to see that this evening from her.
Well, everybody's got to step up today, that's for sure. This is the biggest match of each of these players' careers.
A one-handed dig by Doman flying out of the back row. And she'll get a kill, and just out of the reach that time around for the Hornets, and the Huskies now just trailing by 1.
And that's what you want to do out of a timeout. Kirtland went on a bit of a run.
Yep.
Carissa Chambers called timeout. Here the Huskies are making a run of their own.
Again, another service error on the line that time around for the Huskies.
We'll give a shout out to Bill Fugate, the Jaga Maple Leaf photographer I see down there in the left corner.
An ace that time around for the Hornets and Nina Longcar. Handled that time around much better by Striever. And it's Hissa who gets the kill off the block. But Steve, that time around, I want to point out number 8, senior Brianna Doolittle, who comes up from JV last season as a JV setter. And a lot of times when you see Doman having to take that first ball, it's your libero that's supposed to step in and take that second hit. But it's nice to have Doolittle on the right-handed side, again, as we just witnessed, to take that second ball if she has to. A free ball opportunity, but a miscue that time around by the Hornets.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of this back and forth today. Mini runs, 2 and 3 and 4 point runs.
A free ball opportunity for the Huskies as Collins takes the first contact, and that's Hutchinson on the attack. A hitting error that time around for Georgia DeJohn.
And we're tied, 11-11. The intensity level rising in here for sure. As we mentioned, these two teams are very familiar with each other. They've played twice already this season.
And that's Glow out of the back row and a block with the net for Doolittle and Hutchinson. Doman tries to keep the Hornets on their toes. And that's a crazy shot that time around, Steve, by Georgia DeJohn, who finds the deep corner.
I think that ball had eyes on it. Just dropped in at the corner at the last second. It sure did look like it was going out of bounds. I don't fault the Husky players for letting it go.
It's Hissa who tries to catch again, the Hornets sleeping. But that's Natalie Glow who goes wide on the hit.
I think that's where Hissa is so dangerous, obviously being a lefty when she's over on that opposite side, but the way she came across her body and went even further to the right, that's dangerous.
And that's something to see that we've been able to see from Hissa as the season's prolonged is the different opportunities where she's able to hit. You know, she can hit on the outside, but then you can have her come behind the setter, and that's a Huskies who just out of the reach, not sure exactly if they got the pancake, but a good job to stick with the ball.
Yeah, it looked like one of the officials might have thought she got her hand under the ball while the other one had called it early.
This is Ava Golem back to serve for the Hornets. A tough serve that time around for Golem. Catches the Huskies sleeping and gets an ace.
Dropped it right in the middle. It's usually an area that somebody can field the ball, but
absolutely
not on that point.
This time around, Golem goes deep on the serve. And that's a tight play for Hissa, but she does her best to keep the ball on her side. Gordon on the dig, but not to a spot where her teammates can help her pick it up that time around. Jessie Prosh coming in and Gabby Nemeth going back to serve for the Huskies.
We are seeing a lot of long volleys for each point.
An ace for Nemeth ties this set at 14, excuse me. A block in the net for Doman and Hutchinson. And that's Glow who finds the floor in. Steven, a hitter like Natalie Glow, you don't want to let her have more than one opportunity at the net. The Huskies doing a good job of slowing her down on the first one, but she gets a second set, she's putting the ball away.
Oh, absolutely. You gave her the first time, she hit it into the block. The second time, she wised up and went around.
That's Grace Whitney doing a good job of keeping the ball alive, but the Hornets catch the Huskies sleeping deep in the court.
Each team putting together some runs. I think we're going to see this for 3, 4, 5 sets here today.
Yes, absolutely. A 2-ball that time around for the Huskies, and Jessie Prosh gets behind that one and is unable to find the court. Again, this is the Hornets' largest lead of 3 at 17-14. A 3-ball contact that time around. And it's Prosh who gets a kill. And Steve, that's a great example of how important serve receive is for the Huskies, and really any team, but more specifically, they have to have a 3-ball opportunity for Doman to set up her 3 hitters in the front row.
Absolutely. You know, you don't want to send over free ball after free ball. That's just allowing your opponent to set up their offense.
And that's just out of the reach of Hutchinson, who stretches out. Streever comes back into the back row for the Huskies as Natalie Glow goes back to serve for the Hornets. And Steve, looking back just a few weeks ago, saw a little bit of frustration from Natalie Glow as her serve, she was struggling a little bit from the service line, but certainly not in the front row as she, like I mentioned before, really hurt the Huskies on that cross-court shot. Another free ball opportunity for the Huskies, and again, you have to capitalize. And again, just wide for Jessie Prosh.
CBC TV Volleyball Match of the Week here at Cardinal High School. The Kirtland Hornets on top 19-15 in the first set of this Division III District Championship match.
Glow switching it up that time around, going short, and Rakowski will set up Doman. A diving effort that time around by Rakowski as Doman tries to dig it, but the Huskies again will call a timeout at 20-15.
That gives us another brief moment to recognize one of our sponsors.
This halftime breakdown is sponsored by Capwell Financial Advisors Northwestern Mutual. Capwell Financial Advisors strives to increase capital wellness through clear, comprehensive financial planning. They start by articulating a vivid vision for your financial security, then take quality financial actions to align your money with what matters to you the most. To put your vision into action, contact them today at capwell.nm.com.
Welcome back to Cardinal High School for the CVC TV Volleyball Match of the Week. The presenting sponsor of CVC TV is Ohio's Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. Today's broadcast sponsor is JC's Restaurant in Burton.
And Steve, out of that timeout, if you're Coach Chambers, I think 2 things that you're talking about. 1, getting a good first contact pass. 2nd, limiting your errors. Now we've seen a couple back-to-back hitting errors from the Huskies, and she's telling her team, calm down a little bit, take this point by point. A good touch that time around on the block for the Hornets. And a free ball opportunity for Kirtland. And that's a double called on Nina Longcar.
Yeah, that's a tough break when you get that free ball opportunity and you can set up that offense to make a mistake like that in the middle of it. But Hornets on top, 20-16.
Doolittle comes back into the front row for the Huskies, and Doman's back to serve. That's Prosh getting that dig, and Doman's looking to get Prosh involved again in the offense. Rakowski and Doolittle. And it's Georgia Dijon that goes wide.
And once again, out of the timeout, here come the Huskies.
Doman goes deep that time around as Ava Golem takes first contact. And it's Jessie Prash who attempts the dig, but maybe gets sucked up just a little bit too far behind the Blackers, is not able to get a good touch that time around. A 3-ball opportunity this time around for the Huskies, and it's Prash who takes a little bit off of it. Looks like a little bit of a miscommunication error that time around for the Hornets, resulting in another point for the Huskies. Sophomore Ronnie Collins back to serve as Lindsay Hissa comes back into the front row. Collins goes right away at Natalie Glow. And maybe too, Steve, another success for Cardinal, or a key success, is keeping Natalie Glow in that back row rotation where she's not so effective in the front row, or like she is in the front row, excuse me.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime you can back her up away from the net, you're in good shape.
And that's Hissa who again tools it off the block. Huskies now trailing by just 1.
Lindsay Hissa having a great match thus far. With that, let's take another brief moment to recognize a sponsor.
Ohio Center for Orofacial and Implant Surgery diagnoses and treats facial pain and injuries, and also offers a full range of dental implants and bone grafting procedures. Look no further than the Ohio Center for Orofacial and Implant Surgery for all of your oral surgery and cosmetic surgery needs. Please visit their website at www.ohsurgery.com.
Welcome back to Cardinal High School for the CVC TV Volleyball Match of the Week. This is a Division III District Championship match between the Kirtland Hornets, the 3 seed, and the Cardinal Huskies, the number 2 seed. The winner advances to the Barberton Regional, and we hope it's another all-CVC match on Thursday as Independence is hosting Brookside in another district championship match. The winner will play against the winner of that match.
Collins again goes deep to Natalie Glow. And a roll shot for the Huskies, but it's Hissa who controls it. Natalie Glow gets the dig. And that's Strever who gets a dig herself. That's a double called on Hissa. Rare double call there that time around, Steve. Not exactly sure what the upper official saw. Maybe her angle that she took on the approach. That's Bree Doolittle on the attack. And Hissa gets a solo stop. Great job that time around by Hissa, staying up at the net.
Well, I just said it a moment ago, but Lindsay Hissa having a great day so far, and that's good news for the Cardinal Huskies, who pulled to within 1 point of Kirtland.
That's Strever that time around on the serve. And a block by Hutchinson and Doolittle. And again, that's Georgia Dijon who gets that kill in. Again, Steve, we see those outsides getting sucked in a little bit, not holding line, wanting to come directly behind the Blackers. That serve goes long, and that's Strever who has to duck to make sure it doesn't clip a piece of her hair. Junior Grace Whitney back to serve for the Huskies.
Well, this place got very loud over the last few points.
A good dig out of the back row that time by Ava Golem. Grace Whitney handles the tip from Natalie Glow, and that time around it's Tessa Gordon who uses her hands in a free ball opportunity for the Huskies. Again, that's Natalie Glow who gets that kill.
Yeah, I had the chance to talk to Natalie Glow in the pregame show about what she's going to face as far as the block, and she talked about getting creative, and that time she did.
This is set point number 1 for the Hornets. And the Huskies will fight off another point, that time around a tip going down for Hutchinson, as Nemeth comes back in to serve for the Huskies and Prosh goes into the front row. And a service error will end the first set for the Huskies as Kirtland takes set 1, 25-23.
That might have been a tough call right there for the Cardinal Huskies. I know the fans certainly didn't like it, but that ball looked pretty close to the line.
And unfortunately too, Steve, we talked a little bit midway through that first set, the serving error starting to pile up for Cardinal, and as you get to points 20 to 25, you really want to limit those errors.
Absolutely, and Vape Educate is one of our sponsors for today's broadcast. Let's listen in.
Vape Educate is an online course designed to be completed by middle and high school students. However, most certainly can be beneficial to anyone interested in learning more about e-cigarettes, vaping, and juuling. Schools are using Vape Educate as an educational program for teachers, parents, and other community members. Visit vapeeducate.com to learn more.
You're watching high school volleyball on CBC TV.
And welcome back to Cardinal High School for today's Division III District Championship match, which is our CVC TV Volleyball Game of the Week. CVC TV is presented by Ohio's Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. Today's broadcast presented by JC's Restaurant in Burton and a host of other sponsors. Let's take a moment to recognize some of those. Tim Frank Septic Tank Cleaning Company. The Granny family, strong supporters of the Cardinal Athletics program. Pregame Farm, a big family farm in Parkman, obviously in support of family member number 5, Haley Doman. Pregame Farm, a big supporter of Haley's and the Huskies squad. H&H Land Clearing. Cardinal Wrestling alumni. The Cardinal Athletic Boosters. The Doman family. Seems that Haley Doman has a lot of fans.
Yes, absolutely.
And of course, I think my favorite graphic of the day, another from Pregame Farm. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors for making today's broadcast happen. This is quite an opportunity for the kids to be recognized, especially with COVID where attendance is limited to 15% capacity. A lot of fans at home tuning in to watch, and that's great to see. But yeah, it's a great opportunity to be here and present this broadcast. Thank you to all of our sponsors and Haley Adams on the call. I've got, it's a family affair on the cameras with Chelsea Hare and Paulette Hare on the camera. Everybody's got to get involved. Well, Haley, as the Cardinal Huskies now are down 1-0 here in the match, what do they have to do to kind of not let one set turn into two and keep everything rolling along for them to get back into this match?
I think it's letting go of mistakes or letting go of errors, especially as I mentioned before, as we were midway through this first set, started to see the service errors piling up or the hitting errors. And I think especially, you know, we could look and say, oh, we need to perfect this, we need to perfect that. It's just really taking care of the ball on your side of the court. And that time around, they forced Natalie Glow to go wide.
I thought Cardinal did a nice job of slowing Glow down in the first set. She ended up with a few kills, but they posted a block that was pretty tough for her to get around.
Right. A key component that I was looking at here for the Hornets, though, Georgia DeJohn really stepped up late in that first set. And as you mentioned here, they have to get Glow and DeJohn both involved, but slowing Natalie Glow down is tough, and the Huskies did that, but the Hornets, again, very lethal on the outside and was able to get DeJohn involved.
And that's the key for any team is if the opponent is going to take away one of your best players, somebody else has to step up.
Absolutely.
For the Hornets, that was Georgia DeJohn in the first set.
Good first contact that time around by Grace Whitney. And it's Jessie Prosh who blasts it past Glow. Rakowski comes back into the front row as a middle blocker. Good first contact that time around by Tessa Gordon. And again, it's Doman and Rakowski who slows down Glow, and they say Haley Doman in the net.
Glow liked that call. Saw that fist pump in the air.
You see a little bit of frustration on the sideline this time around from Coach Chambers, which you don't see often, but that time around maybe pleading her case or asking the down official to really watch and pay attention. A good line shot that time around by Prosh. And it's, I believe they have Stella DeJohn in the net that time around for the Hornets as Doman goes back to serve.
Yeah, and you talked about the hit from Prosh, Alfieri with a great dig.
Absolutely. A double call that time around by, I believe that was Maria Alfieri.
So now Cardinal with its biggest lead of the match. It's a 3-point advantage. And the serve. And there's Glow. Just, you were talking about the cross corner shots from Glow.
Yeah.
There was another.
Doman and Rakowski both doing a good job of being aware that time around of the serve off the top of the net. Good touch that time around by Rakowski and Doolittle on that block. And Doman doing a very good job this time around of really spreading out that offense. And that's what you need to see in Doman. Really the quarterback of the offense is having Kirtland's blockers really space out. So maybe go behind your setter a couple times and then spreading it out that time around, pushing it outside, having Stella DeJohn to make a decision quickly. Hissel waiting on that tip, and it's Doman who finds the deep corner. Doman so lethal at the setter position, Steve. Really having a strong IQ of the game, knowing when to push it deep, knowing when to attack herself, and that time she made the right decision.
Yeah, she's got over 600 assists now. And that's a lot of that just as being a smart player.
This is Stella DeJohn back to serve for Kirtland. A float serve handled cleanly that time around by Ronnie Collins. And it's Hissa and a one-handed stab by Glow. Streever does a good job of staying on her feet. And a hitting air for Doolittle.
Huskies working their way back into this second set. Now trails Cardinal 7-5.
Glow doing a good job of holding line and getting a dig that time around by Hissa.
Yeah, that was a great set to Hissa, and she hammered it.
A good job by Rakowski tooling it off the block. And a key component for any hitter really is really using the blocker. So if you see the two blockers maybe going up at different times, hit it off the top of their hands, or maybe that time around they didn't close the block, so hit it in between. And both teams doing a good job of really utilizing the tool of the block. A good dig out of the back row by Ava Golom. And it's Hissa who lays out, and Doman who pushes it to the corner and gets a kill.
Well, we talked about that Cardinal defense, and that just kept the ball alive and gave them an opportunity to score a point. They took advantage. Cardinal now up 9-5.
And again, a Hornet is in a net. That time around, it's Marissa Carmosino.
That Cardinal lead just stretched out to 5 points now. And we're going to see Kirtland take a timeout here. Probably a well-timed timeout now that you're down 5, and Cardinal with a lot of momentum here in the second set.
Steve, Cardinal doing a good job of really bouncing back from that first set loss. Again, where maybe they didn't take care of the ball as well as they should have late in that first set. But again, doing a good job coming out firing and really using that momentum and maybe a little bit of revenge.
Absolutely. You know, it's now Kirtland's match, so to speak. They're up one set to none. So Cardinals got to be the aggressor here to climb back into the game. What Kirtland can't allow to happen is that Cardinal takes all the momentum.
Absolutely.
So Kirtland can't slow down and take away its own intensity.
And I think too, Steve, for Kirtland right now, because maybe Cardinals' offense is really starting to come along this set, excuse me. Ooh, a good time that time around by Collins to lay out, but unable to keep that on her side of the net. But Kirtland needs to just play scrappy, Steve, so keep the ball alive, okay? Maybe you can't get every single dig that Hissa or Prosh lays out, but keep the ball alive. Get a good touch off of your block.
Well, that's why these two teams are here, is because they play that scrappy style. Obviously, they have some talent. They're well coached, but it's also that effort that they play with.
And Hissa goes high off the hands. DeJohn goes just long. And Steve, again, we see DeJohn really liking that deep corner, that deep cross-court corner. And we see that also in Natalie Glow. Perhaps, you know, that could be Coach Newcomer really telling her team what's open on the court. And looking previously at matches 1 and 2 when you played one another, what spots are open. That's Grace Whitney on the serve, another lefty for the Huskies, as their team is filled with quite a few, actually. Ooh. A good dig again by Striever, and that's Hissa who finds the deep line. Steve, something that I love to watch on any team, for any group of girls, is somebody who really brings the intensity and gets excited after each point, and that's an ace for Whitney. And we see that in Natalie Glow for the Hornets after her team gets a kill. It's a fist pump in the air. But you look at Cardinal, and that energy is solely brought from Lindsay Hissa with a stomping of the foot or a fist raised in the air, as she's constantly getting her teammates involved and excited.
Yeah, and we talked quite a lot about her in the first set, as she had a great first set. She's just getting it going here in the second. Another kill for the Huskies, who now lead 14-7. And correct me if I'm wrong, Haley, but I think that's the biggest lead of the match.
Yeah, absolutely. There before it was maybe both teams each had a chance to lead by 5, but the Huskies, again, just bringing that power and that fight to really, like you said, stay alive in this match. And I don't know if they're calling, okay, they called her in the net. That's number 99 for the Hornets. And Newcomer thinking about calling a timeout, and she will do so.
99, I believe, is actually 65 on our rosters, Nora Withrow. Let's take this quick moment to thank some more of our sponsors for today. The Doman family, obviously out here strong, supporting number 5, Haley Doman, junior setter for the Huskies. The Cardinal Athletic Boosters, one of my favorites, the Cardinal Wrestling alumni. H&H Land Clearing. Preem Farm with 3 separate sponsorships here, all in support of Haley Doman. And now let's get back to the action here with Cardinal leading 15-7 here in the second set.
That's Nemeth on the float serve for the Huskies. And I believe, like you mentioned before, that's Nora Withrow who gets called for the double. And Steve, the Huskies are lucky that she got called for that, because Natalie Glow hammered that ball.
Right, and Kirtland definitely could use Natalie Glow and a couple other players to get going at the net.
And that's a tight set, but it's Glow.
Wow,
Wow, Steve, I thought that might have been tooled off the block that time around, but maybe that pass was outside of the antenna.
Well, we did see both officials pointed their arms in different directions.
I'm a little surprised too, Steve, that they didn't do a replay possibly, and that's Doman again, finding an open spot on the court.
Cardinal now running away with the second set, up 18-7. Huskies trying to claw their way back into this match, down 1-0.
And Steve, I think as a sports fan and a sports analyst, I think you and I both can agree this could possibly be a statement set here for the Huskies. You know, losing a close one in set one is they're coming out on all cylinders and really succeeding in whatever they want.
Yeah, I think it's important too after you lose that
And
first one.
It's Doman again who gets the setter's dump and finds the open court.
As I was saying, I think it's important if you lose that first set, not only do you want to generate momentum, but you want to break the will of your opponent and just say, look, you beat us in one, it's not going to happen again.
Absolutely, a good touch that time around by Rakowski and Jesse Prosh that time around. And miscommunication, and it's Nemeth who lays out, but it's just outside the antenna.
Kirtland down 10, 19-9. Maria Alfieri on the serve.
And Steve, maybe this set is a little bit out of reach this time around for the Hornets, but again, start to string along a couple points and really get set up for set three to have a little bit of confidence heading into sets 3 and 4.
Right, and I think that's what the point I was making a little bit earlier is, you know, you're down 1-0, so Cardinal wants to come in and just break the spirit of Kirtland so that when they get back into it at 1-1, they want that momentum to trickle over into the third. And there's Natalie Glow hammering one home as we speak.
And that time around, Steve, she does a good job of really getting behind the ball, and she gets her feet set and she gets her approach set. It's Doolittle with the one-handed stab. Haley Doman gets a dig off of her own block, and it's a slew of Hornets with Stella DeJohn, and I believe Nina Longcar perhaps got in on that block.
That was a great point for Stella DeJohn. She had 2 blocks and the little tip.
And again, that's DeJohn on the block.
So Stella DeJohn finding her groove right now.
As we mentioned earlier, Steve, she's leading the Hornets in the block category with 34, and that's a service error. And stopping a little bit of a run for the Hornets was Natalie Glow.
It's Ronnie Collins back to serve now for Cardinal, who leads this second set 21-12.
A float serve that time around by Collins goes deep. And a block by Rakowski. A free ball opportunity for the Huskies, and if you're Cardinal, you really have to use this opportunity. A good job that time around by Georgia DeJohn to recognize Doman with her own attack. Doolittle with the one-handed stab, and again Doman pushes it deep. Natalie Glow gets the dig, but her teammates are unable to get it across the net. Although, Steve, maybe Kirtland doesn't win that point, I think that's a good thing for them to happen there is they're not letting the ball drop. Maybe earlier on that in this set, they started to let frustration get to them as they started to see balls drop in front of them. Just out of the reach of Ronnie Collins, but a kill for Georgia DeJohn. And again, Steve, starting to heat up here late in this second set.
Yeah, and I think that's key rolling into the third. As you said, it's going to be tough for Kirtland to come back and win this set, but they need to get it going for the third.
Doolittle on the attack. A little bit of miscommunication that time around by Maria Alfieri and Georgia DeJohn. That's Lindsay Hissa going on too. And again, wide. Not sure, Steve, if that was Nina Longcar or the setter in Maria Alfieri.
Yeah, it was Alfieri. Just went a little bit long. I think she was eyeing that corner and just mishit it just a little bit.
An ace for Strever. This is set point number 1 for the Huskies. Natalie Glow with a 3-ball pass. And that's number 2, Marissa Carmosino, who gets a kill off of Hutchinson's block.
Yeah, we haven't called Carmosino's name a lot, and that's something the Hornets would like to see a little bit more of moving into the 3rd and 4th sets.
A little bit of a miscommunication error, perhaps. Not exactly where Hissa likes that set, and this is set point number 3 for Kirtland. Excuse me, for Cardinal.
It's Carmosino with a heads-up play to get that ball over the net.
Did we expect anything less, Steve?
No, not at all. I mean, this is as intense as I thought it would be. And we're now walking into one of those situations where we're going to see what these two teams are made of, because
Absolutely.
we talked a little bit in the pregame show how inexperienced Kirtland is with a bunch of freshmen and sophomores. Right. Cardinal has a few seniors, a handful of juniors, so they have a little bit more experience. You saw Cardinal go down after the first set. The Huskies rallied back, maintained their intensity. I think they even got louder and a little bit more spirited. Well, now we're going to have to see what happens to Kirtland after losing a set. Is one bad set going to turn into 2?
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at my notes here, Steve, I could be wrong. I believe Cardinal led that entire set. Never once let the Hornets get involved at all. The closest Kirtland got was 5-2 and 9-5 early in that second set. And again, one of our keys to the game you have listed here is start fast and don't slow down. We have to use experience to advantage and generate early momentum to break Kirtland's spirit, and we saw that firsthand for these Huskies.
Absolutely, and you know, some of the keys to the game, when you look at that, going back for Kirtland, is get comfortable early. I think they did that in the first set, but they lost it. Glow and Dejan must get involved, and I could have put Dejan ×2, and you know, they've done that. A little bit less in the second set.
Right.
And then that third part is play to the whistle, and that one is you can't let up when you think you've got a kill, because Kirtland's got such a scrappy defense. And I think Kirtland needs to extend that a little bit here in the third set, because I think they weren't ready for a couple of the balls that Cardinal did send back.
Or perhaps too, Steve, maybe they're starting to celebrate a little bit early, as Cardinal, as I mentioned earlier in that first set, is a diving effort from one of the Huskies flying out of the back row, and it's Doman who kicks the ball in. Yes, that is legal in volleyball to play with your feet. And it was just out of the reach of Ronnie Collins, who was unable to get it across the net, but I watched as Kirtland started to celebrate a little bit early, and in a game of volleyball, like you mentioned, you can't stop playing until that whistle is blown.
Absolutely, and so here we are, the third set. It's 1-1. This is a CVC TV volleyball match of the week. It's a huge one, as this is a district championship. The winner will win their first district title in at least 10 years. Yeah. Kirtland won its last in 2010. You have to go way back to 1996. For Cardinal's last district title. We will have a CVC team at regionals next week, and we're hoping for 2. One of these squads will advance and play the winner of the Independence Brookside match, which is taking place right now further west.
And don't let the number of 1996 scare your Husky fans. Speaking from experience, you know, Cardinal has been in this position before with the district finals game on the line. But unfortunately, in 2013 and 2014, Cardinal ran into the David versus Goliath matchup of Cardinal versus Gilmore. And we all know the story of Gilmore in Northeast Ohio, who is a volleyball powerhouse.
Absolutely, and that district out at LeBray, it was basically playing for second place every year.
That's an ace right out of the gate for Ava Golem as the Hornets pick up 2 quick points here to start the third.
Well, Ava Golem, the Hornets would love to see her go on a run like she did the other night against Rootstown when she scored the first 15 points of the match.
A good set by Doman and a good attack that time around by Jessie Crouch. And I'm not sure, Steve, if that was a miscommunication error that time around between the setter for the Hornets and Natalie Glow, but the ball finds the floor. This is junior Haley Doman back to serve. A near ace, and this is a free ball opportunity for the Huskies, and you really have to use this. Strever with the one-handed dig.
Strever is still down. We're going to get a replay on this ball as it looks like Strever is injured in some regard.
I'm not sure, Steve, if it's maybe a lower leg injury, but she hit the floor hard and landed awkwardly on her hip or stretched her legs out a little bit. But yeah, not something that you want to see as a Huskies fan.
So she limps off the floor. Hopefully she can return to action here. That would be a big blow to the Huskies, as she is one of the keys to their defense.
Absolutely, Stephen. We're looking, as we mentioned earlier, 434 digs during this season for the senior libero and Elena Strever, and that'll force Coach Chambers to call an injury timeout.
This is the CBC TV Volleyball Match of the Week, a Division III District Championship here at Cardinal High School. The second-seeded Huskies hosting number 3 Kirtland.
And Steve, for the Huskies, if Strever's unable to come back into this match, how does that play a role for Cardinal?
Well, it means everybody else is going to have to step up on defense. You're losing a key part of that defense, and if Strever can't return to action, it just means everybody else is going to have to play even better and pick up a bigger role.
Yep.
How is that going to affect Cardinals' offense? Because you know a lot of their offense is generated by keeping balls alive.
Absolutely, and Strever does a great job at that. But looking at this, though, too, if you're the Hornets, unfortunately, you're going to have to go at the new libero who comes into play.
So Strever being carried off the court. Looks like an ankle injury, hopefully, that it's something like, you know, something minor like a sprain, but they'll get her looked at. I know Lisa's down in there. She is one of the fantastic athletic trainers in the area.
Like I mentioned before, too, Steve, she landed kind of awkwardly on that hip, though, too, so I'm hoping, you know, this is something that maybe just a little bit of extra pre-wrap or tape it up a little bit to give her a little bit of more protection on whatever may be injured.
Yeah, not only do they lose an outstanding defensive player, Strever had 434 digs coming into today's match, but she's also one of their best servers as she has 39 service aces. So Cardinals got a big hole to fill. Hopefully it's temporary. Hopefully she can get back into the match.
But Steve, as you mentioned before, looking at the Huskies defense, though, they have over 1,800 digs on the season. 5 with 194 digs or more, but again, Strever leading that category with 434. But again, Steve, the Huskies have varsity experience. Who's ever stepping in to play that role, they'll do a fantastic job, I'm sure.
And it looks like they had Brianna Doolittle throw on the libero jersey, so she's now wearing number 36.
No, Steve, that's Ronnie Collins.
Oh, Ronnie Collins, yes it is, I'm sorry.
Nope, you're good. That's Doolittle trying to go over on 2. And it's Collins who comes flying out of the back row, but unable to pick up that tip. Marie.
So, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. Maria Alfieri comes in to serve for the Hornets. reach of Collins, and that's an ace for the Hornets as they're now leading 4-1.
Maria Alfieri came in with 33 service aces. She's got a couple more today. And Kirtland up 4-1, and now you have an emotional toll that the Huskies are going to have to battle as well as this intensity level, playing against a quality opponent in a very intense match.
A good block that time around by Burkowski, and it's Prosh who tries to tip it over the net. Doman handles that one cleanly. Prosh mistimes that one as now the Hornets lead is to 4. A service error by the Hornets will give the ball back to the Huskies, and no better way for the Huskies to get back into this set now than off of a service error.
And you've got Jess Prosh serving. She's got 16 aces.
A near ace that time around, but a diving Natalie Glow keeps that ball alive, and it's Alfieri who goes underneath the net.
So if you're just joining us, Cardinal just lost defensive standout libero Elena Strever to an injury.
And Steve, this is tough though too for the Huskies. As I mentioned earlier, they started to learn a new defense this year, really in the respect of Natalie Glow and how to defend her. As Ronnie Collins normally plays right back, but now she's playing that libero position. Not sure of maybe what pass she takes or what ball she takes now. And this is sophomore defensive specialist Skylar Earhart, who comes back into the back row for the Huskies and middle back.
Yeah, so that loss of Strever really affects the Huskies in 3 different ways.
And that's Georgia DeJohn who gets that kill. And Steve, looking at both Earhart and Collins, both just sophomores, so this is a huge task for them to overcome. And like you mentioned before, such a high risk, high at stake game, and that's Doman who stretches out and lays out to get the ball over the net. Skylar Earhart with a dig. A roll shot goes down for Doman, and that'll be Bree Doolittle who gets that assist. Hutchinson comes back into the middle for the Huskies.
We saw Haley Doman with a great dig, and then the roll shot for the point. We talked about who's going to step up in Elena Strever's absence, and Haley Doman said, me.
Yes, absolutely. And Steve, looking at some of her stats, and remember, she's a setter. She's got 129 kills on the season, 66 aces, 13 blocks, 347 digs, and she's well over, as you mentioned, 600 assists on the season just as a junior. She has a whole nother season to go. That's Doolittle on the assist and Hutchinson trying to tip it over. Again, Doolittle gets the dig. Out of the back row comes Stella DeJohn. And that's something that you see every day, Steve, is Stella DeJohn coming out of the back row for a kill. Good play at the net by both teams. Wow. And that's the upper official saying that there were 4 hits on Cardinal's side. I'm a little curious, Steve, as I thought, as I just mentioned, that was a good play at the net between Hutchinson, Hissa, and Kirtland's middle that really played that ball well, but the upper official apparently saw something different.
Yeah, and unfortunately we don't use replay here at high school, so when they make the call,
yep,
it stands.
Out of the reach for Hissa, and again that's Georgia DeJohn. Nora Withrow coming back in, and Tessa Gordon for the Hornets. Natalie Glow on the dig, and that's Hutchinson who tries to put it away, but a good touch on the block that time around by Marissa Carmosino. A great dig that time around by Georgia DeJohn. And Skylar Earhart, who comes flying into the back row, and she gets another dig, but just out of the reach of Doman. And Steve, I'm a little surprised that Chambers hasn't called a timeout yet, but again, we have to remember she took that early timeout when they had to call an injury timeout for Strever.
Right. And this is a moment, the Huskies are hurting emotionally.
Yes.
And now they've got to try and climb back into this set.
And again, Hissa doing a good job of really mixing up her shots. She's been hitting that ball across court so often in both sets 1 and 2, but now she's mixing in a little bit of a tip. And again, that's keeping not only the blockers for the Hornets, but the defense too in the back row for the Hornets on their toes. Jessie Proshin able to get that dig. Just maybe, Steve, a second earlier as she's trying to get those hands up to protect that cross-court shot, but again, unable to do so. And Hutchinson keeps that ball alive with her head. Not really what she intended to do, but it's Nemeth who's unable to get the ball over the net. And Steve, again, this is the largest lead of not only this set, but of the match for either team at 7. But it's Hutchinson who finds the deep corner and gets a kill.
Now this is a tough set right here for the Huskies. Trailing 13-7 now, and you've lost your best defensive player.
Yep. Good job that time around by Hutchinson to step into the hole. Doman doing a good job of getting Glow involved there to play defense first. A good touch that time around by Jessie Prosh to get a kill. And that's back-to-back points this time around for the Huskies.
Hutchinson's to serve. Withrow with a little dump and then a kill attempt.
A great kill that time around by Jessie Proshin. Steve, you don't see that early, or you don't see that often. A lot of times Prosh taking a little bit off of her swing, but that time such a great follow through on her side and gets the ball to go down.
Yeah, I don't think Prosh gets enough credit for being as dangerous as she is, because Cardinals had so many good hitters over the last couple of years.
Yes. That's a great play that time around by the Huskies blocker, and Rakowski, another great play that time around by Nora Withrow. And Steve, I'm surprised that ball didn't get called for hitting the ceiling.
Yeah, Glow placed that perfectly through the beams up there, and I was waiting for it to bounce off, and it didn't.
But unfortunately, too, Steve, for the Huskies, the defense, you really have to make sure that you're staying on top of staying on your toes, as no one really got back to the line. I think they were expecting that ball to hit the ceiling, but in the game of volleyball, you can't expect anything, Steve. You have to stay on your toes.
And I can't help but wonder if Elena Strever was in there tracking that ball.
An ace for Doman.
That ace sure to please the folks at Preem Farm and the Doman family, some of our sponsors of today's broadcast.
And that ball hits the antenna, and Coach Newcomer looking to call a timeout.
Now's a good time to use one. The Huskies are gaining some momentum. They're working their way back into this set. And there it is. Kirtland calls the timeout. That'll give us time to check in with one of our sponsors.
Looking for a family-friendly restaurant with a local flair? JC's has you covered. JC's is a locally owned, family-friendly restaurant that has been in business for 10 years serving home-cooked meals. Even though JC's is located in Badger territory, there are plenty of Huskies on staff. JC's loves to support all the local schools and appreciates the community support. Visit jcs.restaurant to view the JC's menu and be sure to like us on Facebook.
Welcome back to Cardinal High School for today's CVC TV Volleyball Match of the Week. As always, CVC TV is presented by Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. Today's broadcast sponsor is JC's Restaurant in Burton, but we have a host of other sponsors that we'll mention throughout our broadcast, including Capwell Financial, Vape Educate.
Steve, what an exciting matchup this is for not only the CVC in the conference itself, but both teams as we're looking. Kirtland's entering this game, and that's a kill for Praj. And Steve, we talked a little bit too, who's gonna step up for the Huskies as Strever goes out? And we see Hissa stepping up, we see Doman stepping up, and now we see the senior leader and Prosh stepping up. But as before, Steve, we see Kirtland, who's coming into this match, 5 straight wins, and on the other side of the net, Cardinals entering this match with 4 straight wins.
Yeah, both teams definitely were hot coming in. Cardinal's last loss was the match against Kirtland.
DeJohn handles that deep shot that time around from Prosh. And again, if you're the Huskies, you have to use this. That ball just lands on the net. And again, it's Prosh. A good job that time around by Georgia DeJohn to track it down. But they say she gets called for the double, and it's Coach Newcomer who's having Natalie Glow go up and ask exactly what that call was, as she used her forearms really to pass that ball, but they called it double.
Well, this is a dig deep moment for Kirtland. They had a big lead here. They had a lot of momentum. Cardinal had that emotional letdown after Elena Strever left the game with an injury. And here come the Huskies. And now Kirtland has to find a way to regain that momentum.
And a diving effort by Ronnie Collins to keep that ball alive. And Prashu lays out, but Nemeth again unable to track that ball down as it goes into the stands.
That'll be Alfieri to serve for the Hornets. Golem with that dig.
A good block by Rakowski and Doolittle. And again, looking at our stat sheet here, that time around, that's a kill for Nina Longcar. But looking at the blocking stats for the Huskies, solely led by Carolyn Rakowski, as she has 95 blocks coming into this match, which Kirtland's whole entire team has 114.
Yeah, that's a ridiculous stat. What a dangerous player Rakowski is.
And Steve, again, just a junior. This junior class is loaded for the Huskies. And that's a mishit, I guess you could say, again from Longcar. But again, Rakowski gets a touch on the block. A rare hitting air that time around by Natalie Glow. And again, we're tied in this set at 16 all.
This is a huge set for both teams. Number one, you don't ever want to be down 2-1. That's a lot of pressure to face. But if Cardinal can somehow pull out this third set and go up 2-1 despite the challenge they just faced, it's going to be tough for Kirtland to overcome that. And likewise, if Kirtland can go up 2-1 and Cardinal being down one of its top defenders, then advantage Hornets.
And the block really heating up for the Huskies. As again, that's Rakowski and Doolittle. And Steve, don't look now, but that's back-to-back blocks for the Huskies.
Cardinal up 18-16 now. Doman from the back row puts that one into the net.
This is Natalie Glow back to serve for the Hornets. And a miscommunication there between Hissa and Collins. And again, Steve, we're starting to look at maybe some key components where Striever really leads that defense in the back row for the Huskies. And that's Rakowski who hangs in the air for a tip. Again, it's Doman, but a great touch that time around by Natalie Glow to keep the ball alive. But that time around, it's a free ball that soars out of bounds for the Hornets.
And that puts Cardinal on top, 19-18. As we inch closer to that 25-point mark.
A jump serve by Collins. And DeJohn's attack is in the net.
Good news for you Kirtland fans. I just got an update. The Kirtland boys soccer team pulled even with Andrews Osborne. It's now 2-2 with about 20 minutes left in the second half. Stella DeJohn serves for Kirtland, down 20-19.
Steve, I think sometimes this CVC, that's a kill. I believe that was by Hutchinson, possibly Doolittle, not exactly sure.
It was Hutchinson, she got it.
But Steve, I sometimes think the CVC gets overlooked by some of the conferences. You know, you have the WRC in Division II, but the CVC is so powerful in football, in volleyball, in soccer, that I don't always think that it gets credit where credit is due.
Oh, absolutely. And now Cardinal in charge here in the third set. The Huskies lead 22-19, and they have the serve. And that's going to be a timeout by Kirtland. And as we go into this timeout, we'll keep you here, but we're going to thank some of our sponsors, starting with Preem Farm, a big supporter of number 5, Haley Doman. Vape Educate. You can visit their website at vapeeducate.com. That is an educational program to deter kids from vaping. Capwell Financial. The Cardinal Athletic Boosters. H&H Land Clearing. The Doman family. The Granny family. Hashtag Granny Strong. The Cardinal Wrestling Alumni. That's Grace Whitney to serve for the Huskies.
And
it was a good one.
Timeout for the Huskies. And Steve, what a set for this Huskies team. Again, really early on, the first couple of points, losing their libero and senior leader and Elena Striever, having to fumble around a little bit with their defense in the back row. But man, the Huskies have come out after that injury timeout early and really are fighting to keep this match alive.
They were understandably down for a moment there early in the third set, but they've come roaring back and now control and have a set point. Carmesino gets that one to fall off the block of Hutchinson. Huskies fight off that set point. It's now 24-20. Longcar serves it up. Lindsay Hissa with the left-handed kill attempt.
And I'm not sure, Steve, if they sneak that past the block. Yeah, I believe so, as I see Chambers really telling her team to press at the net and to seal. A 3-ball pass that time around by Collins. And now, Steve, you wonder, Huskies have 1 point to go. As they go up 2-1, as I was just gonna say, we didn't see the Huskies really using their powerful attack swinging, but we saw them more really using the tip and the roll shot. And as a previous volleyball player, as you get closer to the end of your set, you never want to play safe. Obviously, you want to stay in control and play in control, but you never want to play it safe.
Well, here's the situation. Kirtland fans, The Hornets are down 2-1 here heading into the fourth. Cardinal has all kinds of momentum after being left for dead in the middle of the third set when they lost their libero, Elena Strever. She's now out with an injury and does not look like she'll return. She is back on the bench with a nice pack under her lower leg, or her upper right leg. It does not look like she'll return. The Huskies had a momentary lapse there in the third set where they let the emotional aspect of that injury affect them, and they slowly climb back into the match. And here they are. They have all the momentum heading into the fourth set.
On your home court too, Steve. What better advantage for the Huskies?
And we talked in the pregame show, I talked to both coaches about the inexperience of Kirtland, the perceived advantage the Huskies have with experience, even though they haven't played in a match this big in 2 years. So most of these girls don't have this district championship experience. And it was really going to come down to who could handle the ebbs and the flows, the highs and the lows. And right now, Cardinal has proven to have the advantage in that aspect, because Cardinal had every reason to throw in the towel.
Yep.
They were down big in the third set. They lost their best player. Nobody would have said, hey, you guys still should have won. Everyone would have understood if they hung it up and Kirtland went on to win. They battled back. Well, now the Hornets have their opportunity to show that, hey, we're young. We don't have this big game experience either, but we do belong here, and it's time for them to step up and show that.
Looking at the Huskies too, Steve, let's give credit to sophomores Skylar Earhart and Ronnie Collins, both stepping in to big sets and matches in their young career. Again, both of them just being sophomores, and give credit to Ronnie Collins where she's stepping in to, I wouldn't say replace Strever, but she's stepping in to really fill those shoes as the libero right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You had Ronnie Collins step up. Skylar Earhart got thrown into duty, and that's a big moment for her as a sophomore. She's played JV most of the year. She's gotten some varsity time, but now she's on the biggest stage, and she's got to step up, and so far she's done that.
Steve, also, I think something that stands out to me late in that third set, let's look at Cardinal's block. As the set went on, Cardinal's block really started to get not just touches to slow the Kirtland Hornets offense down, but they got solo stuffs at the net. And as I look back at points 17 to 16, Cardinal leading, they were able to stretch a 2-point lead with back-to-back blocks. Again, Rakowski doing a great job in the middle position, but not only that, Lorelei Hutchinson, who a season ago played outside, but in spite of her height, is really getting touches and really getting blocks out of the middle for her team. This is Gabby Nemeth back to serve for the Huskies. Again, another great touch, and again, just out of the reach of Jessie Prosh.
Well, this is the kind of start Kirtland needs. They need to be inspired. They need to make plays early, and they need to take care of that momentum.
They need to keep Natalie Glow in the front row, as she's such a lethal weapon. A roll shot that time around by Hutchinson. A good job that time around by Whitney to keep the ball alive. Not exactly sure if Whitney got her hand underneath that or not, but again, Steve, as we talked earlier, volleyball is a game to play until the whistle is blown. And sometimes if you're able to get an official sleeping, you might get that pancake call.
Right, and that was the kill from Stella DeJohn that went off the block. Cardinal tried to chase it down.
That time around, that's Stella DeJohn and Nora Withrow who gets that block.
How about that defensive play?
And that's Natalie Glow and Stella DeJohn who get that solo stuff. And quickly, Steve, the Hornets jump out to a 3-0 lead.
And that's why I said in the keys to the game is you have to play until the whistle, because that Kirtland was dead to rights there.
Yep.
That kill should have hit the floor. They played it and ended up with the point.
A good job that time around. I believe that's Georgia DeJohn who gets that dig, and it's Natalie Glow who hits hard cross court in zone 1.
We did not hear Natalie Glow's name much in that third set.
Right. But I think too, Steve, give credit to the Huskies offense and defense for really keeping her out of the front row rotation, or when she was in the front row, they quickly contained her not only, but that's another tip shot that time around for Natalie Glow, and quickly Coach Chambers will call a timeout as she sees her team trailing 5-0.
And let's take a moment to recognize one of our sponsors.
This halftime breakdown is sponsored by Capwell Financial Advisors Northwestern Mutual. Capwell Financial Advisors strives to increase capital wellness through clear, comprehensive financial planning. They start by articulating a vivid vision for your financial security, then take quality financial actions to align your money with what matters to you the most. To put your vision into action, contact them today at capwell.nm.com.
Welcome back to Cardinal High School for this Division III District Championship match. The Huskies lead the Kirtland Hornets 2-1, but Kirtland is off to a great start here in the fourth set with a 5-0 lead. And I just got word from out in Independence. Independence won the district title 3-0 over Brookside, so the winner will head to Barberton on Thursday to play the Blue Devils.
And what a program, and Doman doing her best to keep the ball alive, and she does so, but it's her right hand that goes just over, or just underneath the net, excuse me. But Steve, looking at Independence, what a program Coach Messina has created for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, and that goes way back to Megan Osisco. She was there for about 5 years and just really helped to develop that program with Coach Messina on her staff. And when she moved,
and that's Doman and Hutchinson who keep that ball alive. Hutchinson doing a good job of blocking and covering, and it's Doman again who finds an open spot on the court.
Yeah, and just to continue, Coach Messina stepped right in. He went from the assistant coach role to the varsity role and has led the Blue Devils to back-to-back state title games.
That's a kill for Stella DeJohn, who squeaks it past the block of Prosh and Rakowski. And again, here's Collins in the right back position right now for serve receive.
Now this is the kind of start Kirtland needed. They had a similar start in the fourth set, but Cardinal came roaring right back. Kirtland can't allow that to happen.
A roll shot that time around by Prosh. Nemeth doing a good job of getting behind Collins, and a good free ball that time around by Rakowski, who gets the Hornets kind of out of system that time around.
Prosh hammered that one.
Long a good dig by DeJohn.
Yep, sorry, that was DeJohn.
And I believe that's Doman who gets that kill, Steve.
7-2, Cardinal trying to stay in this fourth set to prevent a fifth.
Here's Doolittle back in the front row. A good three ball pass that time around by Georgia DeJohn. And it's Doman who lays out for the kill. Wisely, Nemeth sends it over on a free ball.
That's a great defensive play by Doman.
Miscommunication error that time around between Jessie Prosh and Carolyn Rakowski. And you see Coach Chambers animated on the sideline, talking to her teammates and Jessie Prosh and Carolyn Rakowski on how to block and drop, or maybe not be so committed on the block or the overpass kill. And that's Natalie Glow who gets a kill, or excuse me, an ace.
She's the team leader. She came into the match with 56 aces.
Again, those outside hitters getting sucked up behind their blocker, not able to hold line. And again, here you're hearing Coach Chambers telling them to hold that line. Handled well that time by Collins, as that was a rocket coming from Natalie Glow. Good touch by Rakowski. Free ball opportunity for the Hornets, and I'm a little surprised, Steve, that that's Maria Alfieri who decides to go on two on that, but it kind of gets behind the ball and it soars out of bounds. Deep serve by Prosh. Doman with the one-handed stab. Doman again with the dig. kill that time around by Georgia DeJohn. Wasn't the best set that time around, but she finds a way to put the ball on the ground and does so.
Yeah, just another one of those cross-court shots. She saw a hole, put the ball right in it. Hissa with a miss hit there. Haven't seen that out of her too much today. And on that note, Cardinal's going to take a timeout, trailing Kirtland 12-3. Give us a moment to recognize a few more of our sponsors.
Vape Educate is an online course designed to be completed by middle and high school students. However, it most certainly can be beneficial to anyone interested in learning more about e-cigarettes, vaping, and juuling. Schools are using Vape Educate as an educational program for teachers, parents, and other community members. Visit vapeeducate.com to learn more.
We're back here at Cardinal High School. Kirtland leads 12-3 here in the fourth set, but Cardinal has a 2-1 advantage in the match. The winner will claim its first district title in at least 10 years. Kirtland last won one in 2010. You have to go way back to 1996 for the Huskies.
Stella DeJohn back to serve for the Huskies, and that's Hissa who finds the deep line.
So Hissa had the miss hit a moment ago. She came right back and buried that one. And that's what good players do. They shake off the bad play and move on to the next.
And again, Steve, that's growth for Hissa. Good serve that time around by Collins, who gets blow back on her heels. But again, a testimony and a testament to Hissa. Just growth throughout this season, and that's Hutchinson who gets a solo stop.
That was a great dig by Ava Golem, and then the kill attempt by Glow hit the net, but we're still playing.
Again, a kill that time around. Smart play that time around by Doman as she saw the deep corner open. But it's the Hornets who win that long rally. But Steve, again, going back to Hissa, I think at the start of the season, you know, she first has that miss hit. Maybe it creates a couple strands of miss hits, but growth throughout this season. She has a miss hit. What does she do out of the timeout? She comes back and she gets a kill for her and her teammates. A good transition off the net that time around for Hissa, and wisely sends over a free ball. Good touch from Hutchinson and Hissa, and that's Doolittle who tries to go over on two.
And there's that scrappy defense we talked about with the Huskies.
And that's that's Doman who again finds the deep corner. Again, Steve, you can't talk about the IQ that Doman has on the court.
And I think that just goes to her being an all-around athlete. She's been a starter since her freshman year for both volleyball, basketball, and she's also a softball player. So she knows sports. She's been around it her entire life, and that just helps you develop that IQ you spoke of.
A good dig that time around by Collins. A good job that time around by Ava Golem, who lays out.
We talked about the defense of both teams, and we've seen it through 4 sets.
Oh, what a great play by Skylar Earhart, who tracks that down. A great job, trailing 14-5, Steve, and you still see the hustle and the heart from both teams.
And that's what it's going to take to get out of this district.
And
Can't
Steve,
let up.
I think we talked again about playing until the whistle. And we see Collins calling that ball out, but it's too late as that's an ace for Georgia DeJohn off of Grace Whitney. But again, Steve, it's playing until that final whistle is blown and that time around that serve goes long. But it's playing until that final whistle. Skylar Earhart tracked that ball down, just unable to be in control.
You know, and that's the stuff that impresses a coach. Skylar Earhart's filling in right now for an injured player, but she is also, her coach is now making some mental notes to say, hey, this is what she did down 10 points.
High off the hands, Prosh goes. A good touch off the block that time around off of Glow. And again, it's Doman who finds the back corner and gets a kill.
That kill certainly is going to impress her fans at Preem Farm.
Good serve that time around by Nemeth. And it's Whitney who's just out of the reach.
Glow got a hold of that one. It hit the block, and Whitney nearly was able to get the ball back up in the air, but great kill for Glow.
And Steve, I do believe this is Natalie Glow's best set so far of the night. A good block that time around by Stella DeJohn and Nora Withrow.
Guess who?
Natalie Glow again finding the floor for her Hornets, excuse me. This is Ava Golem back to serve. A jump float that time around. And it's Doman who has to track it down, and Collins sends over a free ball. You see a little bit of frustration that time around from newcomer. And that's what I like about newcomer, Steve, is she's a competitor. So her team's up, 17-8, but she's still, getting a little bit frustrated. Maybe when they're not playing as cleanly as they should be. A great dig that time around by Tessa Gordon.
Prosch hammered that ball. Gordon was right there, put it up in the air.
And again, it's Doman and Nemeth who lay out but are unable to get the point.
Kirtland goes up 18-8 here in the fourth set.
Going back to Coach Newcomer, Steve, and her expectations. As we mentioned before, Kirtland always has had success in the CVC, but mainly it was ran by Cardinal and by Burton. And it was a season ago that I believe they finished first or second, and again they finished first this year. But it's newcomer. If she sees a couple missed serves from her team, she gets in their ear and she holds them to a higher standard and a higher expectation.
Yeah, it's a cultural shift at Kirtland, and in addition to that, it's been a youth movement.
Wow, a little bit of confusion that time around by the line judge. Originally they called a touch off the block. I don't know exactly if he maybe swayed the upper official, but they end up calling that block from the Huskies out of bounds. A good job that time around by Alfieri.
Oh, great up by Collins.
And it's Collins who tracks that ball down, like you said, Steve. A key and crucial point for the Huskies. This is Jessie Prosch back to serve for Cardinal. And that Georgia DeJohn tip goes wide.
So Cardinal battling back. It's 19-11 here in the fourth set. Huskies have a little bit of breathing room as they hold that 2-1 advantage, but you never want to push it to a fifth set.
And Steve, too, if the Huskies were to drop this set, what momentum and confidence booster does it give to the Hornets heading into the fifth set?
Well, I think it gives them a lot of momentum. Confidence, I think it's going to be split. I mean, Cardinal, I believe, has the advantage still after battling back in that third set to win after losing their libero, and they were down, I believe, 8 or 9 points. So confidence-wise, I think both teams think they can do it.
A free ball opportunity for the Huskies, but a little bit of miscommunication between setter Haley Doman and middle hitter Carolyn Rakowski. And that's Hissa who gets the deep cross shot. And Steve, I think it might be time for Hissa to start getting hot here late in the fourth set.
She's been a hammer for them all afternoon, so you're right. That's the one thing you can't do in a match like this is those unforced errors. That gives Kirtland a 22-12 lead on that service error. Longcar serves for the Hornets.
Hissa takes a little bit off of that swing. A good dig that time around by Hissa. And Steve, what an adjustment for her is both Glow and DeJohn both have been hurting those outside hitters on the opposite end where they've been sucked in a little too much behind the blocker, but Hissa makes the adjustment and gets that dig off of DeJohn. And that's Lindsay Hissa who gets it past the block.
If we were to call the player of the game for both teams at this point, Lindsay Hissa is unanimous, hands down for the Huskies. For Kirtland, I think you've got a few different options.
Yeah, looking at my roster here, Steve, you can obviously look at the leader in the kill category, Natalie Glow, but let's take a look again at Georgia DeJohn, who has been a staple for her team in this matchup.
And you're right, and I think if before the match you said who are going to be the standouts for Kirtland, Georgia DeJohn would have been third or fourth on that list, and I think she's really stepped up.
Yeah, she has really done a good job, and Steve, looking at her grade, she's just a freshman. She's coming into this match doing an excellent job. A deep serve that time around from Whitney in the lethal left hand. Earhart steps in to get that dig, and wisely a free ball sent over from Hutchinson. A block, oh, they're gonna call four, excuse me. A block that time around, or excuse me, 4 hits called on Kirtland's middle, number 33.
Chelsea.
An ace from Whitney, dribbles off the net. And Steve, you love that if you're the server, but you hate that if you're the receiver, because there's no way you can defend that serve.
Absolutely. It's almost like you need to practice that more often than a regular serve and just try to hit that net tape.
A great job by Collins again, stepping up, giving her team a perfect dig right to her setter where Doman's just able to punch it over the net and get a kill.
Yeah, it's a gut check moment for both teams. Cardinal down, but Kirtland giving up some momentum here. They need to dig deep and hold this one off, force that 5th game. There's the kill for Stella DeJohn. We were talking about her earlier.
And Steve, again, we mentioned Kirtland able to get off to a quick lead here in this 4th set. But what have the Huskies done in order to crawl back into this set?
Well, it starts with their defense and chasing down a lot of these balls. It's their block, giving them more opportunities.
This is set point number 1 for the Hornets as, again, Georgia DeJohn, who gets a service ace.
And now DeJohn will try and finish this set off.
And that's a miss hit that time around from Natalie Glow.
Cardinal stays alive here in the 4th. It's 24-18. Gabby Nemeth to serve for the Huskies. She's got 25 aces on the year.
A deep serve that time around. And again, it's Collins who creeps up into the middle back to get that dig. A one-handed dig that time around from Whitney.
Yeah, and that was off the block. Whitney with a great right arm to keep it in play. And another dig for Whitney.
A great play that time around from Collins as she's trying to catch the Hornets sleeping in that back row. Excuse me, in the back corner.
That's 3 blocks for the Huskies on this point. 4 great digs.
A great dig that time around from Nemeth. And it's the Hornets who are forcing a 5th and deciding set, Steve.
And that was Natalie Glow. When we talked about that earlier, is you can't give a player like Natalie Glow too many opportunities. That was her 4th kill attempt on 1 point.
Yeah, and again, Steve, you know, you want to give credit to Cardinal, where they were able to keep the balls alive, where they were playing scrappy defense, they were getting touches off the block. But again, a player like Natalie Glow, you can't give her more than one opportunity to score.
Absolutely, she'll take that every time. Let's run through some of our sponsors here while we've got this brief moment in between our 4th and 5th sets here on CVC TV. CVC TV is presented by Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. Today's broadcast sponsor is JC's Restaurant in Burton. 2 other sponsors of CVC TV are Capwell Financial and Vape Educate. And we've got a host of sponsors for today's match. Cardinal Athletic Boosters, Cardinal Wrestling Alumni, the Doman family, and they've got a lot to be excited about. Haley Doman has had a fantastic match today.
Yes.
The Granny family, hashtag Granny Strong, big supporters of Cardinal Athletics. H&H Land Clearing, Tim Frank Septic Tank Cleaning Company, Preem Farm. We've got 3 sponsorships from Preem Farm, a couple of different farms there in Parkman, Ohio, all though in support of number 5, Haley Doman. A lot to support. She's a great athlete here at Cardinal, also a great kid.
And Steve, too, she has a younger brother who's just a freshman that really made a name for himself this fall season in golf.
Yeah, the Doman family has been good to Cardinal. a lot of
Absolutely.
great moments, a lot ahead as well.
Yes. And we'll see both Troy and Haley compete in the winter season for basketball.
Headed to a 5th set here. No better way to spend a Saturday afternoon than in a great intense volleyball match. We've seen a little bit of everything today. First set, Kirtland came out on fire. They won that set 25-23. Cardinal roared back in the second and won by 10, 25-15. It looked like Kirtland was going to run away with that 3rd set. They were up big, and then Cardinal lost their libero, Elena Strever, to an injury, and Cardinal battled back and won that set 25-21. And then again, Kirtland was out to a big lead in the 4th. Cardinal clawed its way back into the match, or into the set, but Cardinal was able to finish it off. Kirtland was able to finish it off 25-18.
And Steve, listen to this place right now. You know, unfortunately, we're limited with the number of capacity and the number of fans that we can have. But the Cardinal faithful is so strong, not only here, Steve, but at home where there are so many viewers watching this huge matchup. Again, a lot on the line for both Cardinal and Kirtland.
Yeah, this is intense here. It's loud. The bleachers are shaking. We get to see the sea of red across from us. The Kirtland faithful are here strong as well, and the blue and gold on our side of the bleachers, so you don't see them on the camera. It's 2-2. Set 5 coming up. Nemeth opens it with the serve.
First contact that time around by Georgia DeJohn, and guess who but Natalie Glow with the first point here in the 5th set.
Listen, if I'm Kirtland, I want Natalie Glow to step up big, but I also know that Stella DeJohn and Georgia DeJohn are capable as well.
Yeah, and Steve, maybe we don't call Stella DeJohn's number a lot on the offensive end, but she's a huge factor on the defensive end with those huge hands in front of you as a blocker.
There's a step to Stella.
A great dig flying out of the back row is Gabby Nemeth to keep that ball alive. And it's a hitting air that time around for Glow.
The 5th set is so different from any other, obviously because it's the decisive set, but you're only playing to 15 too, so every point matters.
As a player, I had Coach Shirky and Coach Chambers both who said, you want to be the first team to 5, then 8, then 10, and then obviously to 15. Pace yourself, take this set in small spurts. Don't try to go out and score 15 points in one serve.
And that's the key, and we talk about handling the adversity that you face in a volleyball match, and that's magnified in the 5th set. You've got to be able to shake off a bad set or a bad dig and bounce back right away.
And that swing is long that time around for Rakowski. And this is Maria Alfieri back to serve. A 3-ball pass that time around from Ronnie Collins. And a good dig that time around from the Hornets libero and Ava Golum.
Longcard made a nice play, too, out of the net.
A push that time around from Doman to her outside hitter and Jessie Prosh. And Doman does a good job of defending that block that time around. And a miscommunication error that time around for the Hornets gives the ball back to the Huskies. And this is junior Doman back to serve as Doolittle comes back into the front row on the right side.
You talked about the heads-up play by Doman to send it back over the net. She was rewarded with a point. That's huge.
And that's again a kill that time around, I believe, for Georgia DeJohn, who all night, Steve, when her number's been called, has come into this match and has stepped up to the huge plate as a freshman.
Yeah, regardless what happens here today, both of these teams are relatively young. Their futures are bright.
Absolutely. A good decision that time around from Prosh, who didn't exactly have a great approach on it that time, but wisely downballs it.
Well, there's that race to 5. Kirtland gets there first. It's 5-2. Natalie Glow to serve. She's the team leader with 56 aces, and there's another. And now the timeout comes. Kirtland on top, 6-2 here in this decisive 5th set of a Division III District Championship match. Couldn't have asked for a better Saturday afternoon for a CVC TV match of the week.
And Steve, as you mentioned earlier, we now know that it will be a CVC matchup in this first round of regionals.
Yes, Independence back to the regional tournament. They've played in 3 straight state Final Fours, 2 straight Division III state championship games, and now they're headed back to regionals for another go at it. This time they're going to face, like they did last year, they faced a familiar opponent in Crestwood in the regional semifinals. Yep. This time it'll be Kirtland or Cardinal.
And a season ago, Steve, Crestwood wasn't in the Chagrin Valley Conference, so you're thinking, oh, well, that was a CVC matchup a season ago. No, this is the first time, Steve, in a while that we'll see a Cardinal or Kirtland versus Independence regional semifinal.
Last year could have been a CVC regional championship game as Berkshire played in the semifinal opposite of Independence, but lost to Waynedale. Great serve by Glow.
Absolutely. A good job that time around by Golum to track that ball down. And it's Doman who lays out but unable to get the point. And Steve, this is all Kirtland here in the 5th set.
It is, and you mentioned Golum getting the ball over the net, but Alfieri and Golum nearly collided. That was great communication.
Yeah, absolutely. A good service run that time around though from Steve from Natalie Glow.
8-3, Kirtland leads.
That's Hissa who gets a kill off of Nina Longcar's outside hand.
Hissa with that left arm swing.
A good 3-ball pass, excuse me, that time around by Golum. And it's a block between Rakowski and Doolittle on Stella DeJohn. And that's 4 hits that time around for Georgia DeJohn.
Well, here come the Huskies. It's now 8-5. Jess Prosch serves. Alfieri dumps it behind her back.
A good dig that time around from Collins.
That was Georgia DeJohn that tried to put it down. There's Longcar.
A good job that time around by Doolittle to track that dig. A good job that time around by Natalie Glow to get her hands above her head and get a point for the Huskies.
I don't know who got the point. We saw Cardinal celebrate. Now we're seeing Kirtland celebrate. I'm going to wait a moment until they make it official.
And Steve, there it is. I was going to say, I'm actually surprised Coach Chambers isn't having her captain and Jessie Prosh explaining the call.
So it could be 9-5 or it could be 8-6. It's going to be 9-5. We're getting a substitution. Earhart in for Prosh. Stella DeJohn to serve for the Huskies. And I'm going to mark it 9-5. Make that 10-5 after the ace. Stella DeJohn with another ace. She came into the match with 32. Make that another ace for Stella DeJohn to give Kirtland an 11-5 lead here in the decisive fifth set of this Division III District Championship match.
And Steve, I'm again surprised that a call or a timeout has not been called. I don't believe that Coach Chambers has used all of them here in this fifth set.
Yeah, that would have been a good time because the Huskies seem to be a little bit stunned. But right now it's 11-6. They can regain some of that momentum.
A miss hit that time around between Maria Alfieri and I believe that was number 10, Nina Longcar.
Stella DeJohn off the block of Hutchinson.
A great dig that time around by Lindsay Hissa.
And that all starts with the block. Cardinal's done a great job on the block today.
Doman does a good job of hitting above the hitter's hands. And again, another hitting error. Steve, I do believe that's the third hitting error in a row this time around for Kirtland, and that'll force Coach Newcomer to call a timeout.
Yeah, you're right there. As Kirtland had a lot of momentum, and they made some unforced hitting errors. It's really changed the shape of this fifth set. It's now 11-8. Cardinals got the serve and the momentum. So it's 11-8. You're the Cardinal Huskies. What are you saying in the huddle, Haley?
I think it starts with the serve. Get your serve over the net, keep it inbounds. From there, I think it's just controlling the ball on your side. You know, don't overswing, don't overpass, and don't let a ball hit the ground. You know, Kirtland's just 3 points away from taking this set and this match, but Cardinals 3 points away from tying this set at 11.
Buckle up, folks.
A good start that time around for Collins, who gets her serve inbounds. And a good dig. A good job that time around by Golem to keep the ball alive. And again, a miss hit from Georgia DeJohn.
You know, I think at this point, Kirtland's a little too aggressive. They're trying to hammer the ball instead of just keeping it in play and following through and using some fundamentals.
A good job that time around by the... And that's Doman who finds a deep corner. And now Cardinal trails just one, Steve. But as I mentioned earlier, a good job that time around by the Hornets setter. You know, DeJohn struggling a little bit on that outside to go behind her and get number 33 on the court, Nora Withrow involved.
Huskies fans up on their feet.
A good dig by Skylar Earhart. Good job, Natalie Glow, that time around to step in and grab that dig.
Wonar to the corner.
A great hustle play from both teams, and laying out is Skylar Earhart and Ronnie Collins.
So Olivia Wonar puts that one in the corner. Cardinal couldn't return it. Kirtland up 12-10. a timeout by the Huskies as they now trail 13-10 in this race to 15, folks. Well, Haley, you're running out of points here. You can't you can't call timeout again after the next one and the next one. It's a race to 15. So what do the Huskies have to do here?
Starts with a good pass, Steve. Get their offense involved. Either, I'm not exactly sure who's in right now for the Huskies, whether it's Prosh or Hissa on the outside, but it starts with a good pass. Don't play it too safe. You know, go all out for this point. And if you're the Hornets, again, just like the Huskies were just making a run, keep your serve in bounds. Get it over the net. From there, you're in control.
And for the Hornets, you're up 13-10. You've got the serve. How do you not make a mistake here at this point? What do you have to do?
Take compose. And I know that's hard to say when you have a slew of sophomores and juniors on the court right now. But you know, don't overthink the play. Just go out there and do it. A good job that time around from Nina Longcar. And they'll say, I believe they say Nora Withrow is in the net.
That makes it 13-11. Grace Whitney back to serve for the Huskies.
A good deep serve, but handled cleanly by Golem.
Thrown right into the block of Hutchinson.
A good pass that time around by Earhart. And Earhart steps up big and gets the dig. But Steve, I'm not exactly sure who exactly gets that block, as we don't have number 99 or number 33 listed on our roster.
Match point for the Hornets. The young Hornets looking to win their first district title since 2010. The serve is up. Natalie Glow tries to finish it off. Great dig by Earhart.
A good dig that time around by DeJohn.
And there it is.
And Natalie Glow finishes the match and the set with the kill down the line.
(15-11) is your final in the fifth set. 3-2 is your final in the match. Kirtland advances to win its first district championship since 2010 and its first district championship in Division III in school history. The Hornets will advance to play Independence, a Chagrin Valley Conference team. They did not play this year as they are in different divisions, but the Hornets have advanced. Haley, how exciting was a 5-set match here on a Saturday afternoon in a district championship with two teams we both know very well?
Yep. I think, Steve, you know, in the beginning of that fifth set, we thought it was going to be all Kirtland who runs away with it. But no surprise, you know, as we saw in set 3 when Strever goes out, Cardinal battles back to take that set 3, and they did just that in this fifth set. Obviously comes up a little bit short, but, you know, Cardinal fought to the very end, just like Kirtland did.
What a great match. You hate to look into the huddle of the Huskies. You see the tears streaming down their face. They played well enough to win. Kirtland played well enough to win. Both have had great seasons. Impressive run for both teams.
Yep.
I mean, let's go back to that third set when the Huskies lose their libero. 500 digs to her credit this season.
Yep.
You lose that big chunk of your defense. You're in a huge hole, and they climb back to win that set. That just says a lot about the Huskies and the perseverance that they have.
Yeah, looking at the word resiliency, Steve, and again, kudos to those underclassmen who are able to step up and do a great job of, again, not replacing Strever, but filling the role and filling those shoes that she left behind.
You see tears over there from the Kirtland Hornets as well, but those are tears of joy. This is a young Kirtland team, 0 seniors. That entire team is going to return next year. They may even have some players coming up from JV to solidify the lineup. But, you know, and Cardinal, they're not going to lose a lot either. I believe they only have 3 seniors on their roster. They're good ones. Brianna Doolittle, Jess Prosch, and Elena Strever, but the bulk of that team is coming back. You've got a very young team at Berkshire. Crestwood had a youth movement. So that Chagrin Valley Conference Valley Division is going to be brutal next season. It's going to be fun to watch. You've got a lot of great teams.
A lot of experience coming back.
Yeah, and if these districts hold true, I think you're going to see, you know, one of these two teams back into district final, maybe two. A Berkshire, a Crestwood could jump back in there. Grand Valley, they graduated a big senior class, but they'll be coming back. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But next week, it's going to be Kirtland versus Independence at Barberton High School on Thursday at 5:30 p.m. And the early word is we'll be streaming from there. I'm not sure who will be on the broadcast. Haley, I don't know if you can make it, but I believe we're going to stream that game as the Kirtland Hornets are being awarded their district championship medals. Exciting match. I want to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors for today's broadcast, starting with our CVC TV presenting sponsor, which is Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. Doc Lewis and his crew have been big supporters of the CVC and made CVC TV a reality. Capwell Financial and Vape Educate also are regular sponsors of our CVC TV broadcast. Today's match was presented and broadcast sponsored by JC's Restaurant in Burton, Preem Farm with 3 sponsorship ads, all in support of number 5, Haley Doman from the Cardinal Huskies. Really appreciate Preem Farm and their support. Tim Frank Septic Tank Cleaning Company, H&H Land Clearing, the Cardinal Wrestling Alumni, the Doman family, the Granny family, and the Cardinal Athletic Boosters. We couldn't do this without you, and the kids appreciate it, we appreciate it. And everybody that tuned in, I want to thank you for your support of this CVC TV broadcast. I believe we'll be streaming again on Tuesday, which will be a girls' soccer game. Wednesday, which will then be a boys' soccer game, and Thursday will be a volleyball regional semifinal. Our final score here from Cardinal High School, the Kirtland Hornets 3, the Cardinal Huskies 2. Your Kirtland Hornets are the Division III District 1 champions. Great season by the Cardinal Huskies. Great season for the Kirtland Hornets. Continued success. Good luck next week as you play the Independence Blue Devils, the defending Division III state champions. Haley, any final words from Cardinal?
No, good luck to those Kirtland Hornets as they, again, David versus Goliath matchup versus Independence, but I do believe if they play scrappy like they did today against Cardinal, you know, they could string along a couple points and really make the Blue Devils decide in crucial points.
Absolutely. Well, our final score again here from Cardinal High School, Kirtland 3, Cardinal 2. I'm Steve Hare, and for Haley Adams, thank you for tuning in, and have a good day.